How's it going, guys? This is Ketchup here, bringing you another sort of little character run through. I'm going to be focusing on Ninjutsu Scorpion this time. I think unlike my other videos where we break down certain characters, Ninjutsu isn't really going to be as long, I don't think. It's a very simple variation. It kind of really does one job, if you know what I mean. And it has a place in the game. I think Hellfire and Ninjutsu are the two variations you would potentially switch between as a Scorpion main. And I've done the other two variations, so it makes sense that I sort of tie the knot with Ninjutsu. He gets new normals and new strings, and that's the purpose of Ninjutsu, is that he has a stronger footsie game, because his forward 2 and his back 2 both have really good range on them. Now the back 2 is actually unsafe on block, but if you space it from super duper far away, it's much harder to punish, because it's just so much pushback, and it's really far away. Forward 2 is the same kind of deal. Now combo wise, he actually gets really good meterless damage utilizing Ninjutsu in sort of basic punishes. Forward 2 is 2 mids that hit really rapidly. This can armor break quite effectively against certain reversals, because obviously it's 1-2, 1-2. So that can armor break certain things. And in terms of combos, forward 2 combos into back 2 really well, and you can do this a bunch of times, and obviously, you know, they do fall out eventually. I do believe if you land a back 2, you can land about, if you time it properly, you can get about 4 of these and then jump kick, teleport, but the timing's a bit weird on it. It is possible, but obviously I don't really play Ninjutsu, so I don't really do it. I stick to 3 because it's easier to do. But we're going to run through the strings and normals, then I'll quickly talk about the applications. So he gets forward 2, he gets back 2, back 4 is a different sweep. It's a regular sweep, but once again it hits really quickly twice, so this also can armor break. He's also got the back 3 to forward 2. The final forward 2 is replaced by a sword normal. I believe it gives you a bit more damage, I could be wrong, but that's different. The back 1-2 forward 1, once again he uses the sword, which has better range on it. So it's the same kind of string, but there's just a different ender to it in the sword strike. Not special cancelable or anything, so you know they function the same way. You can't special cancel this either. Back 2, you can't special cancel that string. And the 2-1-2, this is also a new string he gets. So he can't just do 2-1-4, he can now do 2-1-2, and the last hit is overhead. So that's really good for him as well. In terms of the applications to this, before we forget, forward 4-2 is also a new string, which is a safer way to go for his overhead. Goes into a mid, knocks down. Once again, I don't believe it can be special cancelled. Yeah, it can't be special cancelled. When it comes to the applications, you're pretty much always going to just be playing footsies with Scorpion in this variation. You're going to be playing a strong sort of, you know, you want to kind of keep this distance, and if someone jumps, if they press a button, you catch them with this. Hit confirm into about 3, and then you could do like a jump kick teleport, 2-1 spear, you know, just do like jump in 1, 4 teleport, and then going for a mix-up, but you're a bit safer because you can now go for his overhead into, you know, a safer option. Or his low option goes into the sword off the back 3-2, forward 2. So in terms of meterless damage, he gets some pretty decent damage if you can punish with forward 2. So for example, you can do forward 2, back 2, NJP, jump kick telly, 2-1 spear. Then you could do that, you know, like jump in for teleport, 34% meterless leading into a mix-up situation because the teleport's obviously plus on hit. So that's really good for you. If you manage to land a back 2, you can just, you know, you can do a bunch of these. So anytime you catch this, you know, even if you only get 3 of them, you can do back 2, jump, telly again, go for a mix-up. You're pretty much going to bag 34%-ish every single time you land one of these. So that's really decent for him, because if you catch one of those, it's a guaranteed 30% meterless anyway, which goes into Vortex, sort of mix-up, I suppose, situation. When it comes to punishing anyway, you can get a bit more damage off his meter burn teleport if you go for, you know, instead of just doing meter burn teleport, jump kick teleport, like you do in the other variations. You do meter burn teleport, back 2, and then you jump kick teleport. Again, it's just a means for him to get a tiny bit more damage. Once again, it's sort of, you know, 29%. It's more than you would do. So utilising, you know, the pop-ups of these is quite important. The 2-1-2, it's kind of like a pseudo 50-50 in that you've got 2-1-2, which is overhead, or 2-1 slide, which is low. You can fuzzy guard it, I believe, but it's just something that people won't be expecting. I mean, a lot of the time when you block a string from Scorpion, there's almost always only one way the string can go, whereas with the 2-1, you know, you've now got 2-1-2 in the overhead or 2-1 slide. It's not that great because slide's super punishable, but it exists and it is something you can do. The back 1-2, forward 1, you know, this is just, you would use it the same way you would use his back one anyway, in that it's just a mid. You know, it's not particularly negative on block or anything, so it's just a good string, and it ends differently. Not much to say about that. But also, one of the big deals about his sword attacks is that they don't have a hitbox on them when it comes to a hurt box, sorry. So in this matchup, for example, if I set the AI to record, and I do back 3-3, let me get him to do record, back 3-3 ice clone, and I block. Now, Scorpion gets a meterless punish on that when you time it correctly. Because there's no hurt box on the forward 2, you can do something like block back 3-3 ice clone, and if you're quick, you can punish him. Obviously it's a specific timing, but it can be done when you do it correctly. Ha! There you go. Whoops. And then obviously you can go for your punish as always. The timing's quite strict. Obviously I don't really main ninjutsu, so you know my timing's not particularly great. But you know the whole idea is you can now do certain things that you can't do in the other variations. You know, it's a meatless punish forward 2, a lot of good range. You can't do clone because obviously you know the forward 2 goes through it, and that helps you versus certain obstacles in the game. The forward 2 just has a really good way of getting around these kind of tools. So the fact there's no hitbox on it, you can kind of throw it out, and it's not going to collide with something. I mean, sometimes you kind of put yourself in a situation where you try and throw a normal out, and you know, like if you try and throw out like a forward 3 right as they do a string, and because you know you're moving yourself forward, you'll just eat some kind of punish. That doesn't really happen with ninjutsu as much. I mean, they can block and punish this, but like I say, if you space it max distance, it's kind of difficult to punish. But mainly, it's you know there's a big area there that he's commanding where he's actually not really putting himself at risk to do it, and that's the big deal when it comes to ninjutsu. All about footsies, all about playing that game of, do I think you're going to press a button right now? If so, throw out a back 2 the hits, hit confirm into a couple more, jump kick teleport, 2-1 spear, and then you know a safer option will be to just jump in, teleport, and then utilize a new string, which just, you know, and that gives a splat as well. So that's kind of the basics of ninjutsu. There really isn't much to say about it. It's a very, very simple variation, but it's very effective. If you guys want to ever watch some tournament footage of Jago Blake, he's pretty much the best ninjutsu at the moment. He's pretty much the only ninjutsu, to be honest. And he has some good gameplay. It was actually watching him play that encouraged me to pick him up and really see what ninjutsu can do. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. That does tie up our Scorpion run through, doesn't it? So hopefully you learned something. I'll catch you next time. Take care.